Good evening. Tonight, we want to look at the facts on the ground in a place that is often in the headlines but remains misunderstood by many. We are talking about the Gaza Strip. To understand the situation, you first need to know where it is and who lives there. Gaza is a very small piece of land, nestled on the Mediterranean coast. It is only about 25 miles long and around 6 miles wide. To put that into perspective, it is roughly twice the size of Washington, D.C. This small territory is bordered by Israel to the east and north, and by Egypt to the southwest. Its western edge is the sea. The population living within this confined space is immense. More than 2 million people call Gaza home, making it one of the most densely populated areas on the entire planet. The vast majority of these residents, nearly 80% according to the United Nations, are registered refugees. This means they, or their parents and grandparents, were displaced from their homes in what is now Israel during the 1948 war. To understand why there is conflict, we need to look at the core issues that fuel the tensions between Israelis and Palestinians in Gaza. The history is long and deeply complex, but the current conflict is largely defined by events over the past 2 decades. A key turning point was in 2005, when Israel unilaterally withdrew its troops and dismantled its settlements in the Gaza Strip. While some hoped this would be a step toward peace, it did not lead to an independent, sovereign state. Israel maintained control over Gaza's airspace, its maritime borders, and the movement of goods and people through its crossings. The situation escalated dramatically in 2007, after Hamas's victory in the 2006 legislative elections and its violent takeover of Gaza from the Palestinian Authority. Israel and Egypt imposed a strict blockade on the territory. The stated reason was security, to stop militants importing weapons, tunnel materials, and rockets to attack Israeli towns. From the Israeli perspective, the blockade is a necessary defensive measure against a hostile entity on its border that has frequently attacked civilians. From the Palestinian perspective, the blockade is seen as collective punishment that suffocates the economy and traps more than 2 million people. These competing narratives, blockade and resistance, attacks and counterattacks, drive recurring cycles of violence that cause heavy civilian casualties and destroy infrastructure. For the average person in Gaza, daily life today is a constant struggle, defined by severe shortages and uncertainty. The blockade restricts what can come in and out, leading to a humanitarian crisis. One critical issue: lack of clean water. Over 95% of Gaza's aquifer is unfit for human consumption, contaminated by sewage and seawater. Families buy expensive filtered water for drinking and cooking. Electricity is another daily challenge. Most homes get power only a few hours a day. Hospitals rely on backup generators. Businesses cannot operate consistently. Families struggle to refrigerate food, charge phones, and have light after dark. Children often do homework by candlelight or the glow of a phone. The healthcare system is on the brink. Hospitals are overwhelmed with chronic shortages of medicines and specialized equipment that cannot be repaired or replaced locally. Patients must apply for permits to travel for care to Israel, the West Bank, or abroad. The approval process is long and many permits are denied. There is a pervasive psychological toll. The threat of renewed conflict hangs over everyone. Drone sounds are common. Children who have lived through multiple wars face deep trauma, anxiety, and PTSD. Parents struggle to raise children without safety or a clear future. Lack of freedom of movement creates a feeling of being trapped in an open-air prison. In the face of this ongoing crisis, international organizations play an indispensable role. The United Nations, particularly through UNRWA, is a lifeline for a huge portion of the population. UNRWA runs hundreds of schools, healthcare clinics, and provides food assistance to more than 1 million people in Gaza. Without this aid, the situation would be far more catastrophic. Other groups, like the ICRC and numerous NGOs, work to repair water infrastructure, support hospitals, and provide psychosocial support to traumatized families, especially children. This international assistance keeps people alive, but it treats symptoms, not the political causes that create the need for it in the first place. The international community, the United States, the European Union, Egypt, Qatar, and others, have repeatedly engaged in diplomatic efforts to broker ceasefires and mediate negotiations. Tactical ceasefires can halt active fighting temporarily, and mediators often facilitate communication between Israel and Hamas. Yet the core demands are fundamentally at odds. Israel insists on the disarmament of Hamas as a precondition for easing the blockade, while Hamas refuses to disarm and demands a full lifting of the blockade. Broader peace negotiations have been stalled for more than a decade. The situation remains locked in a painful stalemate. Humanitarian aid prevents a total collapse, but a sustainable peace that provides security for Israelis and dignity for Palestinians remains distant.